Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. In every podcast, I'll talk about an organizing, decluttering, productivity, or time management concept, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away, all in just 5 minutes. My specialty is chunking down these big topics so they aren't overwhelming. That's the concept for the podcast, too. I'm now done with the material from my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. If you want the book, you can find it on my website or on Amazon. And you can view the show notes for this podcast on my blog. If you have questions or would like me to talk about a particular topic, just shoot me an email at claire@cluttercoach.net. I would love to hear from you. Keep in touch by getting on my mailing list. It's under the Free Stuff tab on my website, cluttercoach.net. Okay, here we go. This is podcast 111, and it's called Quit Sorting. Like last time, this podcast is based on what I've gotten from reading a book called Algorithms to Live By. There are a bunch of sorting algorithms. Sorting is a common task that a computer is asked to do. I'm not going to discuss all the methods in detail, but I'll tell you about the 3 main ones that I read about, which are bubble sort, insertion sort, and merge sort. Since we're talking about computers, mostly what they are sorting is numbers. With bubble sort, the computer compares 2 numbers, puts them in order, whatever order is required, and then it goes to the numbers in the 2 and 3 place and sorts them, and on down the line. This sort repeats back from the beginning again until all the numbers are in the desired order. Insertion sort takes numbers individually and puts them in order into a new queue, so it only needs one pass to do so. Merge sort divides up the numbers by halves until it gets to individual numbers. Then it merges them back together in ordered pairs, kind of the reverse direction, but in order this time, and then combines them with other ordered pairs, etc., until it gets back to the whole long queue and everybody's sorted. Got it? Okay, I thought that was worth describing because although computers do this quickly with numbers, when you do it with physical stuff, it can be pretty time-consuming and tedious. This is why we have piles. No one really wants to bubble sort their piles, and I don't blame them. There are situations where using one of these sort methods makes sense, such as in your clothes closet. I favor insertion sorting for clothing, combined with purging your cache. Listen to the previous podcast to learn about that one. This means that you take all your clothes out of the closet and put them on the bed. You look at the empty hanging bar, and you assign areas on that bar for different types of garments. One example would be short sleeve tops, long sleeve tops, skirts, pants, dresses, jackets, going from left to right. Now, back to the bed, you pick up garments at random and ask yourself first if you still want them. If no, donate or toss. If yes, put them back on the hanging rack, vaguely in the area that you have assigned above, and you're going to be putting ones on the left to the right of that. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can buy a clothes rack divider, like the ones that you see at stores, to separate your categories. So you just continue discarding and putting away clothes until they're all back in. Done. I just watched a video that describes the best way for sorting books on a bookshelf, but honestly, it looks like too much lifting to me. Books can be heavy. This method, which is sort of like a version of merge sort, calls for moving 10 books at a time, sometimes just one spot over. For numbers, that makes sense. For physical things, really not so much. I'd probably go with bubble sort for books. It'll take a while, but if you only move one book at a time, it's much easier. Plus, with each iteration, your books are more sorted, so you can chip away at the sorting whenever you have time, since you're probably not a robot who can stand in front of the bookshelf for 47 hours straight getting it completely in order. Okay, time to get to the real topic of this podcast, which is not sorting at all. There are plenty of areas in your home and office that you should just not bother to sort. It's a waste of time. One such area is email. I am not a fan of folders in my email app. I do have a few, but they are basically archive folders, places where I stash stuff that I rarely look at, but when I do look at them, I really want them to be all in the same place. And I do see the utility of having folders for work projects. If you find yourself constantly referring back to email conversations for information that wasn't recorded elsewhere, or it's just important to have an immediately available paper trail. Otherwise, folders often turn into lots of little trash bins that you fritter away time organizing and tending to. If you never sort any of your email, how do you find a particular one again? Well, there's the handy-dandy search function that lets you find anything on your computer, provided you know some keywords to search for. It's not instant. It may take a few searches to get the exact thing you're looking for. But, and this is a big but, you have already saved a bunch of time by not sorting up front. So the time it takes you to find this one email is already extra time. That's the concept I'm getting at. If the chances of needing to find any one email are small, sorting is just not called for. It's overkill, it's a waste of time. You can apply this to physical paper files too. I always recommend broad folder topics because subdividing is just too time-consuming. In my experience, people really love to file their bills into folders by vendor. But ask yourself, when is the last time you looked at any of those bills? And I'm talking about garden variety bills like phone or energy provider. Just put them into one big folder and it'd be naturally arranged by date. So if you want to find out last summer's energy bill, it's not going to take you long to thumb your way back there. Back to the books. Mine are organized by topic, and that's pretty much it. I don't mind hunting around a bit, and I just cannot be bothered to put a book back exactly where I found it. Another non-sorting spot is holiday decor. Half the fun of decorating is getting all your stuff out and looking at it again, right? And I'd lump keepsakes in here too. Most of the time you won't be searching for a particular item. You just want to bask in that nostalgia. Here's what you can do now. Find a spot where you're doing too much sorting. To determine that, ask yourself what the point of that particular sorting is. Because they're all phone bills. That is not a good answer. Your answer needs to be based on why you might want them in the future. Make that search worth the cost. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to it. The show is available on SoundCloud and Stitcher as well. And you'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net. And again, please come visit me on livecoach.io and get that gift certificate while the offer lasts. LiveCoach offers a money-back guarantee after your first month, so there's no risk. See you next time.